With results now being released, a lot of people probably got the grade that they wanted, and a huge congratulations to you, by the way. But on the other hand, some people probably did not get the grade that they want, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But the question is, should you retake your paper and try to improve your grade? In this video, we're going to take a look at a couple of pros and cons of retaking papers, and I'm also going to tell you my own story because I was in your shoes once, believe it or not. And finally, I will also tell you some tips which you can use while you're retaking your papers. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the pros and cons. Starting off with the pros, I have the pros written over here. The biggest pro is that obviously you can retake your paper and increase your grade by a lot, which will get you more opportunities in the future. The second pro is, however, now that you've already given the paper once, you'll probably have a lot of experience and you'll know the structure of the syllabus and the exam paper as well. So things will become slightly more easier for you because you're not doing it for the first time. You've already done it before and you now have experience, so things will be easier for you. Pro number 3 is confidence. Once you retake your paper and you end up getting a better grade, that will your confidence will skyrocket and you'll pretty much believe that, whatever bad thing happens to me, I can come back from it. I can easily get a better grade. I can do better in whatever scenario life throws me in, because you just build up that self-confidence that, I got such a bad grade at first and now look at me, I've done so well. So it just builds up confidence. Now that we know the pros, let's move on to the cons. The first con that I have written down over here is that you have to probably prepare for the whole exam all over again. You have to do all of the past papers all over again, revise the content all over again, and it's just a bit long. The second con that I have, which is probably the hardest thing, is that balancing your current studies with the retake paper. So for example, if you've got a bad grade in a paper in year 12 and you want to retake it, you're going to have to manage your year 13 syllabus as well as that year 12 retake paper. So things will become a bit hectic and your time management techniques will have to be on point. Now, con number 3 and the last con that I have is overthinking, and this is something that happened to me and a ton of other people that were retaking their papers, which is basically like you didn't manage to get the grade that you wanted the first time and you just have this lingering fear in the back of your head about, what if I can't do it again? I've wasted all this time, all this money for the papers. What do I do now? So make sure that, whatever you can do to overcome your overthinking, do that. Now that we know the pros and cons of retaking your exam, let's look at my story. And I told this story on LinkedIn as well. So if you want to check it out, you can go ahead and do this over here. Check out my LinkedIn as well. I post a lot of cool stuff over there. Here's an example of a post I made recently. But anyways, enough waffling. Let me tell you my story. Last year, I ended up going on vacation to Azerbaijan in the Caucasus mountain range. And I was chilling, everything was good. But then I realized in my vacation itself, I'm going to be opening my result. And, that result could have the potential result of completely ruining my vacation. So I was there, 12th August 2024. I remember very clearly that I was there. It was 8 a.m. over there, I think. And my results were about to come out. I was shit scared, by the way, because I knew that my physics paper did not go as well as I planned. So it was Cambridge, by the way, because Cambridge and edX were going to come out on different times. Cambridge was going to come out on 12th August and edX was going to come out on 14th August, I believe. I'm not really too sure because it was long back. Anyways, this was the physics result. I'm sitting in the beautiful mountain range. This is a picture I took at the same day my result was going to be released. Anyways, I'm there. I nervously type in my login details and I see physics C. I was about to crash out, because that ruined my vacation. That hurt, because I studied for physics, but something happened and my papers did not go as well as I planned. And I was just sitting there thinking, what the hell am I going to do? Because I've obviously disappointed my parents over here because they put so much effort in for me, and what do I give them? I give them a C. So I was pretty disappointed. And then 2 days later, I look at chemistry and maths, which was edXL, by the way. I get an A in maths because frankly, maths is my favorite subject, but chemistry, another C. So my AS level grade was ACC, and I was devastated because I worked hard, but not hard enough because I didn't use the correct techniques, which is why I created this channel. But anyways, so I got ACC, which was pretty bad for my standards, and I ended up retaking it. So I ended up retaking one paper from chemistry and the entire of physics, because one single paper from chemistry brought my whole result down from an A to a C. So that was pretty bad. Anyways, moral of the story is I retook the paper, I worked hard, I used the correct studying techniques, and I ended up improving my grade by quite a bit. So I worked hard, I messed up, I saw the way I retook the paper is I focused on the areas where I knew I was weak, where I knew I made the most mistakes. I did a lot more past papers than I did before, and there was the hard work paid off because I ended up increasing my result, and it was happy days for everyone. So just know, if you're ever stuck in a bad situation or you get a bad result, it's not the end of the world. You have many options. You can, grades don't define you as much as people may say they do. They really don't, because a lot of people who don't get good grades end up doing so much more in their life that they never thought they would. And some people who get the best grades end up getting stuck in their jobs or whatever and don't pretty much live a miserable life after that. Okay, enough waffling. If you're still convinced that you do want to retake the paper, let me give you 3 tips that are going to help you throughout your retake. Tip number 1 is do or die. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you messed up once. You cannot mess up again, because this life doesn't usually give you second chances. Now that you do have a second chance, use it wisely. Focus on the key areas where you made mistakes before, where you're weak at, and just give it your 100%. Because if you're retaking and you're not giving your 100%, then why are you retaking in the first place? If you're about to give 80% or 70%, I would recommend you don't retake and you just focus on your 13, because there's no point. You have to give your 100% for your retake. Tip number 2 is past papers. Please, past papers are going to be your key to success. Past papers are absolutely essential, especially when you're retaking. One of my biggest mistakes before retaking the paper was that I did not do enough past papers. I think I did about 10, which is still a decent amount, but it's clearly not enough to get a good grade, especially when you're doing A-levels. So if there was a safe number, that I would say it's minimum 20 past papers, especially if you're retaking the paper, because you've already done a couple of those past papers, so you remember a bit of stuff. That's why you should go a bit more. You should go back to 2014, 2015. I know it sounds a bit excessive, but if you really do want to get that good grade, you do have to put in the hard work. Now, the key is not to just do past papers, it's to do past papers efficiently. And how would you do that? Basically, each past paper obviously has their own time limit. So you're going to sit down, clear your desk, get rid of any distractions that you may have, set a timer for the time limit, and start doing your paper. And don't start cheating in between looking at your notes or stuff. Just sit down, focus completely, don't look anywhere else except your past paper, and just do it. Once you've completed it, I want you to get out the marking scheme and mark it yourself very harshly. Sometimes when you're marking, this is what I've done before, and I know other people who do it as well, is that we look at the question, we look at the mark scheme, and we look at our answer, and we say, oh yeah, that's similar enough, let me give myself the mark. You don't have to do that, because the examiner is going to look at it and he's not going to think, oh, this is similar enough, I'm going to give him the mark. You have to mark yourself very harshly so that you know where you're making the mistake and you can come back and get better at it later. Now, another way that you can utilize past papers is that once you're done past papers, especially for a subject like chemistry, revisit them. So what I used to do is that if I did 20 past papers, 2 days before the exam, I would not do any extra past papers. I would do probably like 1 or 2 more just to test myself. But that's about it, because I would revise the old past papers and see any repeating questions or something like that. Analyzing your past papers are extremely important. Seeing the structure of the questions, how the organization of them, all of that is very important. So don't just do your past papers, analyze them afterwards as well. Tip number 3, and the final tip, is focusing on your weak spots. Obviously, you probably have some topics where you're not as good as. For me, it was organic chemistry. I was pretty shit at it. But that's why you should focus more on the topics that you're struggling at, because you know that you can get marks quite comfortably on other topics, but organic chemistry, for example, is the one that's troubling you the most. So why not put all of your effort into that? Not all of your effort, of course, but most of, if I would say 60% of your effort should be going to organic chemistry if you're losing the most marks in that. If you try to study all together, you're going to not make as good of progress, because some topics you're already good at, some topics you're extremely bad at. So you should focus on the topics that you're extremely bad at. Instead of trying everything at once, try to take it one by one. Do the topics that you're not as confident in. Do topical past papers of them, and then move on to yearly past papers. I'm pretty sure you'll probably have around a month's time to revise. A month is more than enough if you've already covered the syllabus and all you have to do is past papers. 1 past paper a day, you're chilling basically. Life is going to be on easy mode if you're doing 1 single past paper a day. As long as you stay consistent, I don't doubt it that you're going to get a good grade. That's about it for today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took a lesson out of it. If you are retaking your paper and you've watched this video till the end and you're still deciding to retake the paper, I wish you all the very best, because you're going to need the luck basically. And I hope your exams are easy, because trust me, I know what happens when you take the exam for the first time, you don't get a good grade, and you take it again and they make a harder paper than the first time. That is like the worst case scenario that you could absolutely get. That happened to me as well. But in the end, life just works out. So don't panic too much if you still get a bad grade after your retake. Life will move on. No one will care. In like 5 years time, no one is going to ask, what did you get in A levels? What did you get in GCSEs? It's just temporary. It's just to get into university. You're going to be fine. Don't stress about it too much. Just put in the hard work, be consistent with it, and trust me, you're going to get a good grade. If you enjoyed this video and you took some valuable information out of it, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can also like this video and check out this video right over here, and you can subscribe to my channel right over here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you with another video very soon. Take care and goodbye.